Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust, episode 572. Woof! Not wasting any time there, Wolfie. Getting all right. Well, here. Let's waste time by not knowing how to move our bodies through a doorway as we continue on walking west in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3 here on Thursday, March 17th, 2016. Episode 572, like I mentioned, we're up to $24,388.69 raised for our Child's Play charity fundraiser this season, Season 6. We're trying to raise $60,000. Hey, that's a creeper. I seen it out the corner of my eye. All right, you crazy camouflage dude. Yeah, you're still there. Oh, wow. All right. So much for getting an early start. But yeah, we're up to $24,388. If we get to $30,000 before the end of the month, before the end of March, then Farlands Bus Fridays will continue beyond March into April and perhaps onwards for the remainder of the season. Why don't we say? Yeah, let's say that. I'm raising the stakes. The stakes have been raised up. And, yeah, so farlandsbus.com, donate to Child's Play charity. This looks like there would be a very perfect space for a spawner beneath here, does it not? Or does it not? It does not. I don't hear anything, so I'm assuming it's not a spawner. But yeah, farlandsbus.com, donate to Child's Play charity. You're getting toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. Get us to $30,000 by the end of the month. And Farlands Bus Fridays, live recorded on twitch.tv/KurtJMech. Episodes of Farlands Bust for the foreseeable future. And I want to thank a very generous anonymous donor for donating $300. Didn't have a question, didn't leave a name, but they just said they wanted to emphasize and get us closer to that $30,000 mid-halfway 50% goal for the continuation of Flob Fridays. So everybody, be like that person. Be like that person and donate and ask a question, why don't you, as well? And we'll have more things to talk about here. But yes, Farlands Bust, as we are continuing on, I just checked right before we loaded up the world here, and our world save file just surpassed 21 gigabytes. 21 gigabytes of walking in one direction continually for the past 5 years. That'll do it for you. That'll do it. That's probably... yeah, that's a spawner, all right. Is it? Or it's just a bunch of dudes hanging out in the pool. Nothing? Really? I guess it's just a spa day for these guys. Alright, well, continuing on. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, I'm having well, as you know, as I mentioned, got the new monitor. Yeah, I'm now playing, not in game mode. I'm kind of keeping with a standard mode. I do need to maybe up the saturation or something of the colors a little bit. Things are a little bit muted. Perhaps I gotta run through a calibration stuff, but yeah, I fixed the... you guys couldn't see it, but I fixed the ghosting. What that was, actually, I suppose if you're looking for a monitor, the Dell U2415, I think, is a really good monitor, but it has a kind of like an overdrive, a fast response rate. The standard response rate is 8 milliseconds. It has a fast response rate mode, 6. Once I disabled that, then the ghosting disappeared. I don't know what that means. So, hot tip for you: don't use that fast response rate if you don't want the ghosting. At least in Minecraft or images with hard edges, contrasts like this has. Regardless, 8 milliseconds, which I know is slow. So you're like into super duper FPS MLG gaming, you're looking at like 2 milliseconds in a TN panel or something. It's actually still quite fast, because that first generation monitor that I have, remember I mentioned that? I don't know if it's the first generation, but the early generation IPS monitor that I have has a response rate of like 24 milliseconds. So that's what I've been playing video games on ever since the dawn of time, the dawn of the channel, at least, even. So it's still an improvement, a vast improvement indeed. So yeah, that was the thing. So I gotta do some calibration. I'm running into a problem. Here's the thing. I have a GTX 970 graphics card. I'm using all the outputs. I've got... That's another weird thing I didn't realize. Apparently DVI is no longer a thing that people use anymore. This monitor has no DVI inputs. It's all display... What is it called? DisplayPort. Actually, there's one DisplayPort and then one mini DisplayPort. I'm very happy that they included a mini DisplayPort because I didn't have one of those cables. So yeah, it's all that, which is weird. But anyway, the graphics card I have has 2 DVI outs, a DisplayPort, and a HDMI. I'm using all of those because I'm powering this monitor, the other monitor, the vertical monitor, and my 32-inch television that I've got kind of the racing and Xbox set up to. What I'd like to do is clone. Instead of having them all as their own separate screens, I'd like to clone either my main monitor or one of these other ones to the TV, because what I prefer to do is play games in windowed mode, but obviously on the TV it's a 1080p TV and I can only play those games in full screen mode over there. I'd like to be able to clone one of my 1920 by 1200 monitors over to there and then just crop off the top and bottom of that extra, 180 pixels or whatever. That way, I can have the window open of the video game on my main monitor, but then just have it positioned just thusly so it appears to be full screen on the TV. That's proving to be more difficult than I anticipated. Apparently, whoa, hey, I kind of want that. Modern televisions. Oh, I also need wood. I need wood. Let's chop down a tree at some near juncture here. Apparently, televisions, when you give them a digital signal, they're like, well, I know what to do with this, and you have no options whatsoever. So all of the, scaling and zoom options are gone from the actual television. I'm fighting tooth and nail with the NVIDIA control panel to try to get that to do it. That is refusing to do it as well. I started to mess with something. There might be something I can do with that I found, but I have yet to implement it. I'm like, I gotta get to work. I've gotta record some episodes here. So yeah, I don't know if any of you have like a experience with that. To let me know what's up with that. The problem is I keep having this weird problem where when I turn on my computer, it keeps moving stuff around. Like it keeps changing what my main monitor is, and like windows that I keep open, like my Twitch chat and my monitor, my microphone monitor, level monitor, and windows I basically just keep open all the time. End up showing up on other screens. Particularly, they end up showing up on the TV for whatever reason, which is a screen that I never use unless I'm playing a video game on it. I don't know why, so I feel like that would be resolved if instead of having 4 monitors, I just clone one of the monitors over there. But the aspect ratio situation is a bit of an issue, I guess. But there's gotta be a way. I think as a last resort, I do have a DVI to HDMI cable. I could connect that to the television, and I think that would give me more scaling options, because in that case, the TV's like, oh, this isn't a normal HDMI. Ooh, perfect stack. This isn't a normal HDMI signal I'm getting, so maybe I'll give you more options to scale. I don't know. But yeah, let me know if you have any... I might have figured out a solution by the time this episode goes up and by the time you get a chance to comment. But let me know. I don't know. I'd rather not find like another third-party helper program, but if something exists that makes that easy... I thought maybe it would be an option in Display Fusion, which I use, but it's not. Display Fusion is really just an extension of the Windows, multi-monitor configuration system. So there isn't much I could do there. But yeah, I want to send my television a 1920 by 1200 signal, but I want it to just fit pixel perfect. You know, I don't want it to stretch. Either it stretches and squeezes it, or it shows black bars on the left and right and maintains the aspect ratio. I don't want it to do neither. I just want one pixel to equal 1 pixel, and then the remaining top and bottom pixels to just get cropped out. Does that make sense? I want it to fit horizontally and then crop vertically. Am I making the sense here? So yeah, I don't know. Well, that would really help a lot of problems. You might be wondering, oh, why just play the games in full screen? Yeah, I could, and I have been, but if you don't record and live stream a lot, and if you do, you would know that it's a lot easier to play a game in windowed mode. It doesn't make your screens all flash. It allows you easy access to just tab over and select other windows that you have open, your chat, your DxTory, your whatever volumes that you need to adjust on the fly. It's really a lot more convenient. So I'm thinking that would be a nice roundabout solution. Speaking of solutions, I'm tired. Let's solve that by going to sleep and continuing in the morning. And aspect ratio-ness, I guess. I don't know. I was really hunting for something to say there. Whew, which way are we going? We're going west to those far lands, and let's answer some more questions from donors to Child's Play charity. Farlandsandbus.com is where they donated, and in the comment field is where they entered a question that I will answer here. Just like Yaweasel. Yaweasel asks, I moved from the U.S. to Canada 2 years ago. Please briefly discuss American politics to validate my decision, or if you'd prefer not to. And then there's like a completely different question that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. I don't want to explain American politics, other than that I kind of mentioned this in Saturday's episode, when somebody asked me about Trump. It's a circus. A lot of people from Europe, when they hear about our campaigns and the duration at which they last, are really baffled. It's all marketing and advertising, and now it's turning into reality show-ness and kind of shock and awe, sort of, to gain attention. It's not good, and it needs phone ringing. That I do not know that number. And it's it's just really confusing and annoying. And I mentioned before, there's a reason. There's a reason a lot of members of the politics who stand to benefit from politics try to make and maintain a confusing and complicated and exhausting state of the elections, and that is so that perhaps it confuses you, the voter, and then you have no say. It confuses you, it exhausts you, it frustrates you. Well, that's better if you just opt out of voting, because then that gives us more control, they say. Sort of. And then there are people who try to fix that, to try to make it better. But we'll see how that goes. I'm really confused. I thought I signed up for an early voting ballot here in Arizona. I haven't received one or any notification of one. I got my sample ballot, and they told me where I can vote. But I don't know. I guess I just have to vote. On the 22nd is Arizona's primary. This one is technically called presidential preference, because I think in Arizona, regardless of who the people vote for, the delegates can just pick whoever they want and give the votes to whoever they want, regardless of the results. This is kind of just an optional thing to get public opinion. Of course, if they were to pick something completely opposite, that might cause a bit of a brouhaha. But yeah, it's different in every state, and it's confusing, and you got your Super Tuesdays 1, 2, and 3, and Saturdays, and it's whatever. But that's beside the point. Your actual question here, in case I wanted to opt out of the political question, If you could replace your skin pigment with chlorophyll, making you green but eliminating the need to eat, would you? Well, I still think plants need to eat. They still acquire certain nutrients from water and from the soils upon which they are planted. So I don't think photosynthesis is the closed loop system that you might be suggesting. No, I mean, eating is all right. I could deal with eating, I suppose. I guess I don't really want to be green, I guess. I've already... they would make me clash with some of my outfits. So, no, I'll pass on becoming plant life, I think, is where I'll go with that one. We're not Kerbals here. But thank you, Weasel, for the donation in question. We can game if we want to, asks, how would your perception of the cosmos be changed if SETI or another project or organization found convincing proof of the existence of intelligent alien life elsewhere in the Milky Way galaxy? I don't think my perception would change too much because I already kind of assume that that's probably the case. That's probably the case. At least life, definitely life, but it's probably the case that other intelligent life is out there somewhere. Maybe. It's, it would change a little bit. It'd be confirmation of hope, I suppose, or of like just statistical. It's so huge and there's so many stars with so many planets that it's just gotta, it adds up. But I don't know if my personal world, you always wonder, people always tend to say, oh, that finding life on another planet or finding intelligent life would change the world and society forever. I don't know. There have been some pretty amazing discoveries, scientific, historic, and otherwise, that have gone largely ignored by the population as a whole. And I'm not sure. It'll turn religions on their heads. I don't know that it would. They're pretty, specifically the hardline ones, are pretty staunchly set in their ways, and will find a way to either dismiss or work it into their system of belief. I think perhaps discovery, sure, contact, and if there's anything, if communication could happen between another intelligent life form, that I think would have a bigger impact than just saying, oh, that star 24,000 light years away, we noticed a planet and it has life, and we can see or somehow detect that something is happening, or they made a Dyson sphere or whatever. But I don't, I don't believe, it's one thing to say, well, that's what we see. Can't do anything about it. Can't visit them. Can't talk to them. It's until people can touch or feel or talk or communicate or experience something that I think it really makes a big difference. Simply saying that it's out there, it's kind of like, well, okay. For the vast majority of people, there is obviously the space astronomy science community, either people in that community or like aficionados like myself that would probably find that a lot more interesting, than the general population. But yeah, that was a good question. Let's go to a question from the anonymous donor. That's how they wanted to be known, as the anonymous donor. Number 1, having just gotten over the chicken pox, I was wondering about your... Wolfie? I was wondering about your experience with childhood diseases, quotes. I don't remember much about them. I got the chicken pox. I think I have a couple scars somewhere with them, but I had the chicken pox. I don't remember if it was too terrible or not. I was really kind of pretty healthy, I guess. My older sister ran into problems. She got asthma pretty bad, like my mom has. I'm not sure if she ever had to go to the hospital for it, but she always had like the breathing treatments and the inhalers and stuff. I had a little bit of that. It was mostly brought about by either being sick or too much exercise. I would get really short of breath and long-winded, and they kind of attributed that to very mild asthma. But I never really had any serious, like, I got all my vaccines. I didn't end up with polio or anything like that. So the childhood diseases thing was pretty rare and not really much of an issue with me. So yeah, good luck with your chickenpox. Number 2, how do you come up with the incentives for donating? Walking East. Let's not talk about that. Kurt J. Tat, Flob Fridays. Do you have a list of things I might do, or do they come to you as on the spot? Yeah, you shouldn't give me too much. Oh, God! Oh, watch your head. Ow, that got me. That was a bank shot. That was a bank shot and a half. Did you hear that? He shot it like 20 seconds ago, and then it went... Finally hit me. All right, Wolfie. Yeah, you're going to sit down here. He's angry. This is a very... Oh, there he is. All right. Do I kill this guy? Oh, I think he died on his own. Oh, my. Get messed up, son. These guys take a lot of hits. Ha ha ha. I've been avenged myself. Oh, this literally goes nowhere. Thought it'd be a spawner or something. Ah, I hear a spider though. All right, let's make an elevated hidey hole really quick here. Hopefully, because I killed the guy, Wolfie isn't mad anymore. That. And 1, 2. 1, 2. All right. What was the question? Sorry. Oh, yeah, I don't have a list. I don't have spreadsheets of plans or schedules or ideas or anything. So these things just really hit me pretty last minute. Let's go to sleep, and I'll finish my thought in the morning. And awakeness. What did that do to my armor? Yep, those started to take damage now. So yeah, I mean, I'll have an idea. I mean, I'll know that, I should probably do something here. The donations are kind of slow, or a milestone is coming up. So let's do something. I'll toss about some ideas in my head. And if one pops up, like, oh, let's continue Flob Fridays, I consider it for a while. I'm like, is that something I want to do? Yes, no, yes. And then really the decision comes when I mention it in an episode. Once I do that, it's pretty set in stone. So, yeah, I really don't think about it too much in general. It's kind of how I operate with everything, I guess. I don't really plan, I don't have goals. Well, this is going to be Season 7's, I'm not even... Season 7 isn't even a mote of dust on a sunbeam in my mind anymore, or anything, so I don't even... I don't plan, is what I'm saying. I don't plan ahead at all. I'm very impulsive. And then I regret. Very quickly. No. Oh, man. But thank you very much, the anonymous donor, for your question. Mavance30, or Mavank E30, perhaps he drives a BMW, asks, will you be on the East Coast for any conventions coming up? Why, I will be. I mentioned in the last episode, didn't I, that I was looking back and forth and up and down about... Or no, was that during the stream? See, this is a problem with live streaming every day, is I forget what I say during the live stream or what I say during a recorded episode. I was having decisional issues with deciding how to get to PAX East, which is in Boston from the 23rd to the 25th of April, I think. That weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's difficult now that I'm in Phoenix. We don't have daylight savings, so technically now we are on the same time as LA on the West Coast. So traveling east is pretty much an all-day endeavor. There are overnight flights. I've never done that with a domestic flight before. I'm not sure if that was a good idea or not. And then there's the flight that I do have, which leaves really early in the morning and then gets late in the afternoon into Boston. But yeah, I'm doing that. I don't know if I think word on the street is that Mindcrack and Nerd Fusion are going to do another combo booth again there. Unfortunately, all the tickets are sold. You can normally find tickets for PAXs, even though they're all sold out. I still wouldn't pay more than face value. If you do, then it's probably somebody trying to scam. But yeah, planning on having a booth. I'm not sure if if a meetup is, because I haven't, the meetup in San Antonio worked because I had been there before. I knew of that spot that existed for a good meetup. I know nothing. I've never been to Boston. I know nothing of PAX East or the area it is in, or any sort of potential meetup type of stuff. I'll try, and hopefully my time and the weather cooperates. Maybe we'll coordinate with other people. I mean, we do have the full Clunch City Dream Crushers team attending, and all the alternates as well. We got Anasia, we've got Lofty and Fultron and Fabe are all going to be there. So, I mean, might just like combine and maybe do something with that if they know. They've been there more than I have, so maybe they know something I don't about a good place to do that. But yeah, that's the only and the nearest East Coast travels I have planned. Careful, Wolfie! Careful, Wolfie! Careful, Wolfie! So if you are planning also to attend, then hopefully you're able to stop by and say hello. Toxin asks, have you ever considered getting into ham radio? This isn't the first time this has been asked. A while ago it was asked, but no, I've never considered. I mean, I don't know, what do you do with it? I mean, is it just about communicating with other people? I mean, I know you can with an amateur ham radio. You can contact and speak with the International Space Station if you time it right as they're passing over. They have a radio up there. Whether or not they respond is another thing, but I always see information or tweets about, oh, this person contacted the space station and they asked a few questions to the astronaut up there or whatever. But no, not really. That is not ever... Is it just for, like, communicating? Or, like, do people go onto their ham radios and just, like, broadcast a radio show on their channel or on their outgoing channel? I don't even know. Are there channels? Their frequencies or whatever? So, yeah, no, I've never considered it. I don't know anybody who's into that. So there's no point of entry for me. Woof! Wolfie agrees. He's not tried ham radio either. Disturbed Zero Angel asks, I seem to recall you mentioned in the past that Eidolon does not get a lot of views, but you keep playing it because you like it. Is that something you see expanding to other games you try? Only every single video I upload to YouTube nowadays, I guess, applies for that, not getting many views. I'll say this, every video game I've played on my channel, I've played it because either I enjoy it, and I know I enjoy it, or I think I enjoyed it. There have been games that I think I would enjoy that I know I stop enjoying. Or alternately, like in the case of Tomb Raider, these Tomb Raider reboots, I know I'll enjoy making content for it. So maybe I don't enjoy the game, but I know I'll enjoy the commentary, making the commentary for it. Specifically the Rise of the Tomb Raider, because I know I kind of went into the rebooted Tomb Raider thinking, oh, I want to enjoy this. I hope I enjoy this, and then I ended up not enjoying it. Going into the Rise of the Tomb Raider, I knew it was probably going to be more of the same, but I knew I could also just make it a good commentary, snarky commentary series. So yeah, especially anymore, I rarely look at views, which is also why you'll probably not be seeing me play the really popular, hot games of the moment. You know, people like to get their early beta access, or they get their press releases if they're a bigger channel, and they have embargoes, and then they publish their videos as the embargo expires, or as the video or as the game goes public or whatever, to try to get in on those early views and cash in on the hype, the new game that everybody wants to see people playing. You know, yeah, I'm not going to be doing the Division or the next whatever big release game. I mean, even something like No Man's Sky. I know the pre-orders are up, but I'll, you know, and there might be like, oh, release date, everybody wants to start playing and uploading videos. I'm probably gonna wait for that one just because I don't know. That's a big question mark whether or not that's even going to be a good game. You know. Similarly, you know, even with not even talking about AAA titles, you know, your Ark Survivals, your Honeydew Valley or whatever the heck it's called, you know, popular games that a lot of people are requesting. That simply because I don't think I'd enjoy it, I'm not going to play it just for the views or just for the you know, to capitalize on the hype, I guess. I'm a man of integrity and of low views. Those two things come hand in hand. Sadness. No. Oh, man. Let's see. We got two similar questions here from Aaron and Dravir Sylvanus. I'm going to say your name different every single time. Aaron asks, you always ask for questions from us that you can answer, but what about the other way around? Do you have any questions you would like to ask your fans? Dravir asked, what would you like to ask me? These really kind of crossed me up. I don't know what I would ask my fans. Because I don't care. No, I have no idea. Because I don't see you as this anamorphous blob of just Kurt J. Mac fans. I know that you're all individual people with individual personalities and styles and likes and dislikes and whatever. So I don't feel like just asking a question. You know, the only questions I could ask you as a whole would be like analytical survey questions like, where did you hear about Kurt J. Mac? When did you first subscribe? Are you a patron? You know, that's the only sort of anonymous scattershot questions I could think of asking my fans, air quotes around my fans. But yeah, personal, like a question, the type of question you would ask me for Far Lands of Bust, I can't seem to grasp that. And, or really come up with anything. Like, and similarly, I get a little bit crossed up. Is crossed up the wrong word? It sounds like angry. I'm getting cross with you. No, I get a little bit flustered with meetups. Speaking of meetups, because there's inevitably moments where, oh, hi, hello, nice to meet you, I'll sign your thing, okay, and now we're all standing around. Like, I feel like everybody's waiting for me to prompt. Not that I'm, like, saying everybody's putting pressure on me, but, like, prompt to say something, so I'm kind of like, so, do you guys like stuff? And I find it hard because I don't know what to ask. I mean, I will sometimes ask, I guess, the very basic, the very boring. So what do you do for a living? Or how long have you been watching YouTube? Or what other channels, blah, blah, blah. What's your favorite series? So that I think is kind of just my own poor social skills working there. But, yeah, that's kind of weird that you both asked that question relatively close to each other, and not really weird that I don't really have a good answer for that, because I have no idea. I don't have a good question for that, I guess, is what I should say. That's what you're asking for. But yeah, that is going to do it here for episode 572 of the series. Don't forget that on Friday I will be live streaming Saturday's episode 573, on Twitch, and questions and donations that get made then get priority to be answered then. So make sure to get your donations in for that. and get us closer to $30,000. So the Flob Friday thing continues. That would be cool, right, guys? It would be totally cool. Let's make another boat. I'm running low on wood again. And yeah, farlandsandbus.com is where you can donate. Help me out there. Well, no, don't help me out. Help out the kids. For the kids. At Child's Play Charity, through Child's Play Charity. And that cow. Do it for the cow. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. And then it went